Hey everyone, welcome to the Discover China and Discover Beijing livestream. I'm Lucian, you'll remember me from the Beijing Winter Olympic Series last year. Now, where are we today? We're at the Zhoukoudian site here in Beijing, and it's where the Peking Man was found. Not just that, but there's human fossils ranging from 10,000 all the way to 700,000 years ago, literally showing the course of human evolution. It's so important that this place is one of the World UNESCO Heritage Sites. I can't wait to get started. Let's go. So, do you know about Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, the origin of species? Darwin had what seemed like a crazy idea at the time. The idea that humans evolved from apes. People really laughed at him at the time, but we know that now to be true. Ancient fossils found here at this site really mark a turning point in Darwin's theory. So, what's so unique about these fossils? We're going to invite my friend Cai Yinan, a long-time tour guide at the museum and a true expert on the Peking Man. Hello. Hello. Thank you. Okay, so thank you so much for having me. 谢谢欢迎我来你们的博物馆，我真的很开心，而且很期待能学习很多。
那就让我们走进历史，走进周口店遗址，了解更多古人类文化啊。
Okay, great.
这边走啊。你看，在我们这个博物馆序厅就有这样一座古人类雕塑群啊。你知道他是谁吗？
Wow, who's that? 这是谁啊？ So the guy in the middle, we're wondering who he is.
认识这三个字吗？
北京人。
对，北京人，他就是属于直立人阶段当中的北京猿人，生活在20到77万年前。这是他背着一只鹿狩猎归来时候的场景。
Okay, so this is the original Peking Man, who lived 700,000 to 200,000 years ago, and here you can see him actually carrying a deer on his back. That's incredible. 那他们俩呢？
这是山顶洞人，属于晚期智人阶段，生活在1到3万年前。一名女性使用古针缝制衣服，和一名男性使用工具在狩猎。
So the two sculptures at the front, they're the Shanding Ren, which is actually from the Upper Cave. They're the Homo sapiens, modern Homo sapiens, and they live from 10 to 30,000 years ago. And so you can actually see them using like modern tools. So for example, this lady here, she's using she's sewing some clothes, and here he's using a sharpened stick as a spear. That's incredible. Wow, I'm so excited for what we're going to learn down there.
那就让我们进入展厅了解更多。
好。So I'm so curious, how actually was the Peking Man found?
1918年的时候，瑞典的地质学家安特生先生，他首先发现了周口店的鸡骨山，之后又发现了其他的化石地点。
So what she tells me is that at the beginning, a Swedish archaeologist called Anderson actually came to a place called Chicken Bone Hill. 为什么叫 Chicken Bone Hill?
因为当时他发现了很多细小的古动物化石，如同鸡的骨头一样，所以就叫做鸡骨山了。
Okay, so the reason it's called such a funny name is because there were loads and loads of old bones there, which the locals thought were called Chicken Bone Hill, which the locals thought were chicken bones. In fact, they were ancient fossils, including, can you tell me about this?
这是北京人的牙齿化石材料，50万年前的 人类牙齿化石。
50万年。
对。
This is 500,000 years. That's half a million years old teeth. That's incredible. Half a million years. My God. 那这是什么？
这是在周口店参与过周口店发掘工作的科学家们。
So there's a whole bunch of different scientists from all over the world. And 谁是他们的领导？
当时他们的主要的领导就是中国地质调查所所长翁文浩先生
Okay. 文浩 and then what about 裴文中？
第一颗头盖骨的发现者。
So this was the first person to have actually found the head itself, the skull. So Anderson found the site, and then Pei Wenzhong found the actual skull. So I've seen this picture before. Tell me about it.
这是裴文中先生，这是他抱着第一颗头盖骨的一张照片。当时拍照片的人呢，他所有的焦距在头盖骨上，而忽略了裴先生，所以这张照片是这样子的啊。
So there's actually a very funny story behind this. So this is actually Pei Wenzhong who's over there, and the photographer is so involved in taking a picture of the skull itself that he forgot to take half of Pei Wenzhong's face in the picture. I mean, you know what's really interesting about that is 有那么多不同来的科学家 so many scientists from all over the world. It really seems like a fantastic example of international cooperation. 就是有一次了不起的国际合作。
对，国际合作的。是。你看，这些都是北京人的化石材料。在第一地点猿人洞一共出土了6颗较为完整的人类头盖骨化石啊。你看这里，其中有5颗那里还有1颗，一共是6颗啊。
I didn't realize that. Oh, okay. So what she's telling me is that there are actually 6 skulls found. I thought it was just one. I thought it was the Peking Man, right? But there are actually 6 skulls found, 5 here, 1 over there. And 然后他们找到那个面部也找到了吗？
一部分。
So they also found some of the face, but that was a little bit scattered and a little bit fragmented, so they had to make it back together. But this is the most intact piece. So tell me about this.
这是北京猿人的复原像。
So this is the brand ambassador of the Peking Man.
对，他跟我们长得有非常大的区别啊！我比他好看多了。看前额扁平，嘴巴向前突出，它是没有下颌凸的啊，这个对比。生活在50万年前，大约是一个20岁到60岁左右的女性。
这是女的？
对。
那为什么叫 Peking Man 呢？
它是一个统称，叫中国猿人北京种，简称北京人。
Okay, so actually, this is a very iconic, very iconic image. I've actually seen this image many times before, and this is it, the Peking Man. Apparently, it's actually a woman. I didn't realize this. This is actually a woman, and you can see what's really incredible is the eyebrows, the eyebrows which really protrude, the nose which is a bit flat, and the jaw which kind of is a little bit inside. And she believes she is far more beautiful than this, right? Of course. So, 他们那个时候的生活肯定很苦吧？
对。
Their lives must have been really tough, right? Really tough.
你看，当时的北京猿人呢，一共就是在第一地点猿人洞，一共出土了40个人的化石材料，可以统计到寿命的有22个人。在这22人当中，你看他最大的一个人才活到了50岁，普遍的寿命是在14岁左右啊。
Wow! So altogether, they found around 40 people, and you can see from the stats here, almost 70% didn't make it past the age of 14. So think about that. That's like one of your earliest years in high school, right? And 70% of your classmates just don't go to the next year. Terrible. And only 1% makes it to around 50 years old. Oh my God, what's this? Oh my God, what is that? That's huge.
中国猎狗。
Oh, look at those teeth. They're massive.
吃肉的还是吃草的？
So this is a Chinese hyena, and she's asking me whether they're herbivores or carnivores. I guess they're carnivores. 吃肉的。
对，典型的食肉型动物啊。那你猜一猜这是什么？
Well, these look like chicken eggs. 是鸡蛋吗？
No. 就是它的粪便化石
啊，粪便化
对，
石。
粪便
OK。
化石。
那为什么保留了这个？
因为它就是吃肉嘛，骨头是消化不了的，会随着粪便排出，所以粪便当中含有骨头这种无机物，所以才能够形成化石体。
Ah, okay. So this is actually the excrement from the hyena, and inside are very important clues as to what they ate and the animals living at the time. Ah, so there's this massive map here. Wow, and so you can see all these different ancient people from different times, right? So here's the Peking Man,
对，
and then, so I'm from here, England, Europe, right, Tenerife. So 他们有什么联系？
它们都属于直立人阶段。
Ah, okay. So I'm asking what kind of connection they had, and she's saying that they were all a form of Homo erectus, right? Ancient Homo erectus.
对。
Okay.
这有一个小游戏，你可以体验一下。
Ah, look, there's a game here.
Stand here.
Okay. So there's a little interaction game here. Okay. Oh, let's see what happens.
你和北京人谁更高一点？
我希望我更高一点. She's asking who's taller. All right. I hope I'm taller.
左边是北京猿人，右边是你啊，你可以看一下，稍等一下啊。动一动你的左臂。
Oh, but it's on you. Okay, so there's a oh wow, look. So you can actually see my leg and the size of the bone compared to them. So theirs is really small, right?
你看你的腿骨要比北京猿人的长，所以你要比他高。当时的北京猿人，男性只有1.56米左右。
就1.56米。
对。
就差不多这儿。
对
吗？
女孩子只有1.44米。
1.44米。So the women were super small, 144, actually, which is actually about here, and 154 and 156 for the guys, which is about here. So I mean, really, really small people. So really, their lives must have been very tough. 他们过得真的很苦的生
非常
活。啊，营养 so the nutrition wasn't up to much as we have now, right? Okay, so we're now going to head to the second exhibition hall. So we'll see you in a couple of minutes. See ya. If kind of style of life. And Ash. This is a huge block of ash, and then these are bones and stones. You can still see the black. 还有一点黑。
对，正因为烧过，它才会泛白泛黑啊。
那这个多老呀
？50万年左右。
So this is 500,000 years, and you can still see the burn marks on it. That's incredible. Oh my god. Wow. What's this huge wall over here then?
这是猿人洞发现的10万余件石器当中，冰山一角500多块。
So they found 10万。
对，10万。
They found 100,000 pieces of equipment and tools used by the ancient people, across all of these years. 那你最喜欢的是哪个呢？
我最喜欢的应该是这种大一点的刮削器。
啊，
它可以
用它干嘛呢？
分割瘦肉的。把大的肉块切成小的肉块。
Okay. So her favorite is these sharpened pieces of flint, and they're called scrapers here, but I guess they would have also been used as knives. So for separating meat from skin and making big chunks of meat into smaller pieces. Okay. So we've learned all about how they live, but I'm really curious. What is the actual Peking Man cave like?
看你这么感兴趣，我就带你去看看。
Okay, awesome. Let's go.
在来的这个位置就是我们周口店遗址著名的龙骨山了。这个山上，北京猿人、山顶洞人还有早期智人，他们都在这里生活过，不同的洞穴啊。
Wow. Look at that architecture. 为什么它叫龙骨山呢？
因为龙骨就是骨的这种中药材，实际上就是我们考古学家发掘出土的化石材料。
Wow. Okay, so we've just come to the protective site of the Peking Man cave, and they call this the heart of the Zhoukoudian archaeological site. And actually, what they call it in Chinese is the Dragon Bone Hill. And look at that, it's incredible. I think what's so amazing about this is that it's this beautiful exterior, the modern exterior which protects the fossil relics inside. 那这个是为了保护里面吗？
那肯定是啊，它下面是著名的第一地点，也就是北京人之家猿人洞。
Okay, so because the fossil relics inside are so valuable, they had to build this just for it. Okay, let's go look inside.
OK， 这个地方它下面就是我们的著名地点第一地点猿人洞。它是一个在流水作用力下冲刷形成的天然的石灰岩溶洞。
So this hole is actually
by the nature.
Is natural.
对。
Oh my god. Wow.
这是58万年前的时候，北京猿人呢，他选择了在这个地方生息和繁衍，长达了20多万年之久。
So the original Peking Man lived here for how many years?
20多万年。
200,000 years in here.
是的。
Whoa, that's incredible. Oh my god, look at this.
你看，
God,
这
it's
个洞
so
很
big.
深，而且很凉快。
Yeah, it's very cool. I mean, right now Beijing is really hot. It's about 35 degrees, maybe 32 degrees.
前几天北京高温，这个地方很凉爽。
And it's very nice and cool in here. Well, I can really see why they wanted to live here.
对，北京猿人会选择在这里住，而且生活了很长的一段时间。他们的这些遗迹和洞顶塌落这些石块，就把这个洞穴填满了，成了一个很大的洞穴堆积物。
Okay. Wow, is this the? This is where they first found the skull cap of the Peking Man in 1929. Here, right?
是的。
Wow.
但是你看他写的1929年，裴文中先生，著名的中国的考古学家裴文中先生，在这个地方也就是猿人洞第10层的一个层面。大概这个位置发掘出土了第一颗较为完整的北京人头盖骨化石，因此而震惊了全世界。
Okay. So she's telling me that in 1929, the Chinese archaeologist Pei Wenzhong found the skull cap right here. Wow, that's incredible. 能想到就是快100年前，
对，100年前
就是在这边找到了。
是，我们再往里边走。这个位置就是我们猿人洞的剖面层，它从上到下的话，一共是17层，有40米高。
So altogether, this place has got 17 layers, which separate the different eras, and it's altogether 40 meters high.
你是北京猿人的话，这1到17层，你觉得你会住哪一层？
我觉得下面是最凉快嘛，不是吗？
对，下面会凉快。
So she's asking me if I was the Peking Man, where would I live? And I think actually at the bottom, which is the most cool area, especially in this Beijing heat.
它是一个洞穴，所以北京猿这个洞穴，它是人和动物交替生活在这里。北京猿人既在底部也住过，又在上面住过。
So what she's saying is that altogether, people and animals lived in the same cave complex.
对，但是在不同时期。
But in different times.
对。你去过上海吗？
我平时住在上海。
上海的弄堂是什么样子的？是长条形的，对不对？
是的。
你再看我们这个地方，它也是这种长条形的，所以叫堂。然后这个地方早年间有很多鸽子在这儿住，所以叫做鸽子堂。
鸽子堂。
对，
好聪明。 我觉得 actually what's really amazing for me is that my God, look at this place. It's incredible, isn't it? Really incredible. I mean, it's massive, and I cannot believe that people lived here so many years ago.
我们现在就来到了刚刚我们去过这个猿人洞的正上方啊。
So we've just come to the top of the protective shelter, and look how big it is! Wow, 真的很大，到底有多大呢？
它从我们刚刚来的这个山底到现在的山顶呢，它的跨度有77米。
Wow, so it's 77 meters high.
对。这个保护棚它是清华大学建筑设计研究院的设计。
Okay, no wonder. Okay, so what she just said is that it's designed by Tsinghua Daxue, Tsinghua University. And Tsinghua University is the most famous university in China. And you can really see from the details here. Look, so not only is the cladding matching the stone walls here, but I also see some plants. 我也能看到一些植物，为什么呢？
它要种上绿色植被的话，和整个山体是融为一体的，要融入绿色科技保护理念。
Okay, so as you can see, they've actually put irrigation channels and plant pots up there so that the whole feel really feels very natural rather than man-made. So it really comes together. Fantastic. 那个植物可以吃吗？
不可以，它含火。
Okay, so you can't eat the plants apparently. Oh well.
我们现在来的这个位置就是山顶洞了。
So this is the upper cave.
对，山顶洞。来，这边请。你看这个位置，这只有1墙之隔。这边是1到3万年前的山顶洞人，这边是50万年前的北京猿人，仅仅1墙之隔，2个阶段的古人类，也就是直立人和晚期智人。就
隔了这么一点点。
就是这一点。
就这一点儿。
这一点吗？
哦，这一点儿。Oh wow. Okay, so what she said to me is that this was the Peking Man cave 500,000 years ago, and that's the upper cave, right? And that's where other people used to live as well, other ancient people, and they were separated only by this wall. So the whole time that people were living in these different places, separately of course, at separate times, they never crossed into each other's places. That's incredible.
我们再往下走就能到达猿人。
That's the observation deck. 就是我们刚刚在下面能看到这个地方，是吧？
对，就这个位置可以俯瞰猿人洞。
Okay, so we've just come to the place that when we were at the bottom, we could see this kind of rounded shape up here, and we. So she's saying, be careful of dropping your stuff, and I can see why, because that's, oh my god, 这是40米对吧？
对，40米。
40 meters. I really got to take a picture for this. Okay, careful of the phone, right? Oh my god. Look at that. I think actually the detailing here is just incredible. Yeah, look at this. God, look how deep it is, huh? Incredible. 总共有多少片呢？
它上下2层一共是825片。
Wow, so inside and outside there's 825 of these stone cladding panels. That's an incredible feat of architecture. Really, really special. And to bring it all up here and make it just part of the mountain, that's really something. 对，它是这种浆果类的东西。 Wow, look at this cave. Oh my god, it's beautiful. Oh, this is site 4. Look at it. Look at it. It's incredible. Oh my god. 所以这就是他的门儿，是吧？
你可以这么理解。
This is like the front gate of their house, of their mansion. God, it's huge. Look at that. 真的很大。
是的， 这个地方发现了，在1973年的时候，发现了一颗人类的牙齿化石材料。
Oh my god, so they found actually ancient teeth here.
对，
Molars, right? Upper molars.
至今约10万年到20万年左右，它介于北京人和山顶洞人之间。
So this was between 100,000 200,000 years ago, in between the upper caveman and the Peking Man cave.
对，所以它就使得周口店遗址涵盖了直立人、早期智人和晚期智人一个连绵几十万年的古人类进化演化序列啊。
So what she's saying is that this area was actually, it had Homo erectus, archaic Homo sapiens, and modern Homo sapiens. 我们属于哪个嘛？
我们依然属于智人。
智人。
对，
Well, we're kind of like modern Homo sapiens. 所以他们是有几个人，有多少人能在这里住呢？
有很多人，这个地方都是他们居住和生活的范畴。我给你准备了一个小的工具，你可以带上去试一试，看一看。
So I'm asking how many people lived here, and she said a lot of people can live, sleep, just do all of their activities here. So 是什么？
是一个头灯，你可以带上去看一看他们的居住的环境。
Oh my god! Look at this. Iron in the water, right? Iron minerals in the water, and it's come together. And it's kind of made an oxidation. Oh, sure. Wow! Look at that.
你看这黄色的，它就含有硫。
So this is phosphorus, 是吧？ This is phosphorus from yellow is the phosphorus. There's all kinds of different minerals and stuff here. 那这个白色是什么？
白色就是它形成的这种小的这种钟乳石。
是发霉的是吧？
不是，它就是岩体当中本身就是碳酸盐嘛，碳酸钙嘛，就被风化了，被侵蚀的这种状态。
Okay. So this white stuff is.
这就是钟乳石的这种结晶。
So this white stuff is like a mineral deposit, almost like crystals. That's incredible.
对，其实这个很好看，你看它就形成了这种溶洞奇观，就是小的这种雏形。
It kind of almost looks like it's melted wax, right? And that's just 就是好几年，几
亿年。上亿年的地质，
上亿年，
对，上亿年
有那么多吗？
当然有了。
Wow！
它100年才长1厘米。
So she's saying this is hundreds of thousands of years of just growth coming down and down and down. 就一年能长多少？
一年，肉眼可能不见吗？
Because every year it only comes up to like tiny little bit every year. So that is really incredible. Wow, just look at this place. 所以他们都是在这边生活、睡觉、活动。
对，所有的生活的范畴都在这一块。
So everything was here: sleeping, eating, hanging out, doing all this stuff. 那如果你是原来的人，你会睡在哪里？
我可能会选择里面一点，安全一点。
So I'm asking her if she was the original Peking Man, where would she sleep? And she said somewhere inside. 所以你说里面是哪里？
大概这个位置吧，越往。
So someone over here. Okay.
可能会温暖一点。
So it's a little bit warmer inside here. But I just cannot believe how people lived here. I mean, just look at it. I mean, like in a modern house now, you think about your bedroom, your living room, your kitchen, all of these different places. And that's all just one space here, right? And I guess if there was a family or a clan of people, maybe 5 people, 10 people, 20, 30, 40, and they're all sharing this space together. 所以他们那个时候就是没有私人空间这个概念吧？
对，肯定是没有了。
So they just didn't have this concept of private and personal space because it's just one big space. Wow, look at this. That's incredible. So you see the sun coming up from there. You see this greenery and this huge. 你能想象就是每天睡醒就看到这个场景吗？是不是很爽？
对，非常舒服。
Like, can you just imagine, being a caveman and just waking up to this view every day? Hey, there's this little kid.
来，宝贝。
Hey, Hello.
您好。
Hi. So what's your name? 你叫什么名字？
我叫黎涵。
黎涵 I'm Lucian. Nice to meet you.
谢谢。
So 你对这个地方有什么感觉啊？
就是感觉就这些人就很艰苦了，就是生活在这么个困难的，就是这个条件很艰险，生活又那么困难。
Okay, so what he's saying is that he thinks that this place, the people living here, they would have had a really tough life because, as you can see, it is what it is, right? It's just a tough place. 还有呢？
还有就是古人在这么艰苦的地方，仍然就是坚强的生活着，我觉得这个非常的了不起。
So she thinks it's an incredible place to live. Actually, so 如果你是远人，你会喜欢这个地方吗？
不是特别喜欢，因为这里一看就是也没有我的家那么舒服。
没有你的家那么舒服。Okay, so what he's saying is that if he was the original caveman, he wouldn't really like it because it's not as comfortable as his house now, right? 那你觉得这边缺什么？就是跟你的现在的家里缺什么？
缺各种家具啊、床啊、灯光。
Okay. So what he's saying is that right now his life is so comfortable because he's got lights, he's got a bed, he's got, kitchen and sofa, but here there's nothing. So you can really understand what kind of lives they led up there. Okay, thank you. 谢谢你. Okay.
第三展厅主要展示的是晚期智人的一些化石材料。
So this is the fourth exhibit. 那我们看了他们吃了什么，但是他们穿了什么？
对，那我就让你看一看最早穿鞋的古人类。
So now they're going to show us. Now 蔡老师 is going to show us what they wore. Right. So we've seen what they ate, but what do they wear?
你看，这是田园洞人的脚趾骨化石。
So this is from Tianyuan caves, and what it actually shows is the different type of bone in the foot. This is the different. What it actually shows is a different type of bone in the foot after wearing shoes. So actually, it's a different shape. 就是那个骨头就不一样，对吧？
对，它就是明显有变形，骨骼受到了捆绑才会变形，所以反推出那个时候的人穿上鞋，4.2到3.85万年前，也就是约等于4万年前啊。
4万年前 So around 40,000 years ago, people started to wear shoes. That's incredible. Wow.
到了山顶洞人时期，也就是1到3万年前的晚期智人呢，他们就懂得了缝制技术，穿上了衣服。你看。
So this is 山顶人是1到3万前人是吧？ So this is 10 to 30,000 years ago, and actually look at that. So this is really special because, when you think of cavemen, when you think of the transition between ape to human being, one of the big things is what they wear, right? That's a needle. That's a bone needle, and they actually made clothes from that. 那老师他们应该用什么材料呢？
那你想一想，在那个时候，你如果要做衣服的话，用什么作为原材料呢？
So she's asked me back then what kind of material would they have used, and of course they weren't using cotton and stuff. And I guess the only thing they would have used is animal skins, right? 动物的皮，对吧？
对，动物的皮或者是树叶。好，原材料有了，针也有了，那用什么来缝合呢？
So she's asking me what kind of what they would have used for threading, and I kind of thought hair, but obviously that's ridiculous. 那个动物的那个人，
这个叫筋
the sinews from the animals， 是吧？
或者是一些藤蔓，就植物纤维啊。
那
藤蔓
还有保留到现在的那些的衣服吗？
并没有，这些没有，就是我们通过骨针的磨痕。证明了他们就掌握了这一门技术。
So we could only tell from the equipment and the evidence left that people used to wear these kinds of clothes, but we don't have any clothes left, right?
你再看这幅油 画。
Wow, what's this?
他们穿的衣服上面就很好的去有体现。你看他们在干什么呢？
这是墓葬吧？
啊，对，好
是吧？
聪明。
So, what she's telling me is she's asking me what this is, and actually this is a burial. 请解释。
他们就是用红色的赤铁矿石把它磨成粉末，撒在这个死去的亲属身体周围，对他进行一个简单的告别活动，证明了活着的人和死的人之间有了亲情的体现。
Ah, so that's so interesting. So you see this red powder, that's hematite. It's a kind of mineral, and they've ground it up into powder, and they put it on the dead body. And so apparently, 这个是什么时候
1到3万年前。
So this is 10 to 30,000 years ago. They already had some kind of culture, right? So you can see people dressed up in different clothes. They have a ritual. They're burying the dead. So that really marks us out very differently from animals, right? And so this, the powder is to really differentiate the difference between the dead and the living, and to really show that there's a ritual involved. I think that's super interesting. 好，那老师，你觉得如果你在那个年代，你是他还是他？
那我肯定是他呀。那我要为了获取更多的食物，我一定让自己更强壮。
So I asked her if back in those days she would be the hunter or the person at home. She says she'd definitely be the hunter, give herself a better life. Oh, 老师，那是什么呢？
哦，那是我们的化石修复室啊。平时这个地方呢会做一些化石修复工作，然后也在节假日的时候会有一些小朋友在这儿做一些科普活动。走，我带你进去看一看。
So it's a restoration room where lots of activities and you can really experience what it's like to be an archaeologist. Let's go.
这是我们的化石修复室啊，你可以来看一看，在这里呢，你可以亲自动手体验一下。
Ah, a restoration room. 哎，你好，老师，你在干嘛呢？
欢迎欢迎欢迎！
Hello, 你好。
我在这个给他这个变相除除尘。
Oh, wow. So this is a restoration room, and she's going through the motions of restoring a fossil. 这是什么呢？
这是北京人的复原像，它的主要特征呢，就是它的眉体突出，前额低平，鼻子扁平，然后它没有下颌，跟咱们现代人是不一样的。然后它的脑容量呢，相当于咱们现代人的3/4，比较小。
Ah, so that's so interesting. So actually, you can see like the eyebrows really protrude out, right? And the nose is a bit flat, and the mouth protrudes a little bit, and actually the jaw is a little bit slack. And so that's why it actually looks a little bit like an ape. That's so interesting. 我可以来试一试吗？
可以啊。
好，谢谢。Ah, so this is what it really feels like to be an archaeologist, I think, right? So 这个是干嘛的？
这叫推耳球，主要是给它除尘做的。
Ah, so this is getting rid of the dust. Okay, cool. 还有呢？还有什么工具呢？
还有这是放大镜，然后刷子，有时候补一些颜色什么的。
Ah, okay. So this is for when they're reconstructing the models. This is, you can use a paintbrush to actually put paint onto the model itself. That's so cool. 好，谢谢你啊。
不客气。
你觉得我们俩很像吗？
你比他帅多了。
So I asked if we looked similar, and actually she said that I'm way more handsome, which I'm very grateful for.
是不是挺有意思的？
是很有意思。
其实还有，在这个博物馆当中还有更多有意思的地
Wow!
方。
So she's telling me there's even more amazing stuff outside in the museum. So let's go. 好，谢谢你，拜拜。 So from 700,000 years ago to up till 10,000 years ago. I'm very curious, why did all these people live here for such a long time?
因为这里有天然的河流和天然的洞穴，还有很多各种各样的动物在这里，就可以满足人类的居住条件，所以人在这定居。
Okay, so she's saying that even though it's such a long time, the conditions here are perfect. So loads of water, loads of shelter, lots of plants, and lots of great animals to eat. Which brings us actually to this massive, massive deer skull with huge antlers. 可以解释一下这个吗？
这是种骨大角鹿，因为它的下颌骨这个位置比正常的鹿要肿厚，所以叫种骨。大角就顾名思义，这个角有2米，但是它实际上的体型就和普通的梅花鹿差不多大。
Okay, so 你说这个有2米吗？
对。
Wow. Okay, so this is a thick-jawed deer, and then there, and you can see it's actually massive. This is 2 meters wide, and what's so special about them is they have a very thick jaw. But actually, in reality, the size of the deer is about the same as the ones we have now, but still super impressive. Look at it; it's like a fan, right?
这个动物现在已经灭绝了，所以我
Okay.
们一定要保
So
护环境，
Yeah,
让
of
我们
course.
更多的动物能够活得更久远。
So actually, I'm very curious. How come a lot of the Peking Man skull and bone fragments, they're all models, but the animals are still the originals?
因为北京人的化石材料呢，在1941年的时候，受战乱的影响，转运到纽约自然历史博物馆的时候，受到战争的影响，被迫丢失了，
Oh
到
my
现
God.
在也没有找到。
Oh my God. Okay, so everything that we've been seeing, everything we've been learning about, this is actually based on something very old. It's the actual originals, they've been lost for a long time, since about 1941. So there's the war in China. It got sent out to America, and on the way there it got lost. 所以从那个时候到现在就是没有声音了吗？
对，都没有找到，
什么都不知道。
都没有。
So more or less from the time it left here, 1941, this location, it's pretty much been lost. And they're still trying very hard to find it out. I think that's very sad, actually, right?
所以我们也期待着现在在和平年代，也期待着北京人头盖骨化石和我们其他的化石材料回归的那一天。
So they're really hoping for some kind of answers, some kind of response about where these are. But as she says, it's almost an impossible task. This was 70, 80 years ago now, and it left a long time ago, went a huge route, and we just don't know where it is. So ultimately, we're looking forward to having them back. But I think it's a real shame, not just for the museum and the location, but also for human nature, human history, to have lost something so valuable, right? And I think also, at the same time, I think it really says something about how important it is to preserve these artifacts, not just human, but also natural, conservation of nature, and it's so important. Oh, so right now, we've actually got a couple of questions from some of our viewers. Let's take a look. Okay. So one of our viewers asks, as Peking Man could use fire, would they grill food to eat?
因为北京猿人他当然会使用火种了，因为北京猿人我们发现了他用火的证据灰烬，而且在灰烬当中发现了烧过的骨头和烧过的石头以及烧过的破树籽，这都是他们使用火会烤熟食物和烹饪的这个证据啊。
Yes, so she's saying basically what we saw earlier is that yes, they did, right? And which I still find amazing. And this was 700,000 years ago. They already had fire. That's incredible. But they have evidence of using of ash. We saw the burnt bones and the burnt stones down there. And of course, like I said, cooking food makes food safer. There's no raw meat, no E. coli, no bacteria. And it also increases the calorie intake of the food. But also what she said to me earlier is actually, this is really interesting, is that once they cook the meat, it becomes softer. right? And so the bones and the bones in the skull don't have to be so thick or so strong, which means that more energy can be spent on making the skull actually bigger in the top for the brain, and less animal-like and more human-like as we are familiar with today. Where are the skull cap fossils of Peking Man now? So going back to the question earlier, right?
real 就真品原件啊。大部分的北京人化石材料是在1937年之前发掘出土的，41年丢了。然后在1966年的时候，我们发现了北京人的额骨和枕骨化石，现在保存在中科院。
Okay.
IVPP.
The very famous hospital in Beijing. Okay, so what she's saying is that although we lost a lot of the stuff, a lot of the original fossils and skull fragments, there were still two found in 1966, two original skull fragments, which are stored in a very famous, very prestigious hospital in Beijing. 那个医院的名字是什么？
中国科学院无脊椎动物与滚类研究所，简称 IVPP.
Okay, yes. So it's in the Institute of Vertebrate Paleontology in the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and it's not exhibited because it's just so precious. Okay, so I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching us on Discover China and Discover Beijing live streams. And thank you so much, Cai Lao Shi. Really appreciate all the time.
You're
Really
welcome.
glad to meet you. Thank you so much.
You're
thank
welcome.
you. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.